the normal mistakes that me, Tom, and JB would have made last year. You know, they know, you know, what's expected, you know, all the drills, and I think that's another great advantage, something that they have to their advantage, you know, especially.
With a guy like Didi, he's a quiet dude. I mean, does he communicate with you to the point where he'll ask you if certain questions, or
Oh
is
yeah.
he just, you know, because I don't know how he is off,
Oh yeah,
you know.
off the floor, man. He's a goofball, man. And he talks. He's just, you know, just a little shy, you know. He's just a shy, kind of a shy, kind of guarded person, you know. Just it takes a minute for him to warm up to you, but when he does, you know, he has a big heart and a great personality. You know, he's never really shy from me, you know, and I didn't shy from him. Like I've kind of, you know, try to help him with the process, you know, trying to help him with things, mistakes he makes, or try to point out some things to him and talk to him as much as I can. Because, you know, BJ did that for me last year, so, you know, I feel like it would be my duty to do the same.
Kind of hard for me to recognize him without the hair.
It is kind of funny. We sit back and we laugh at him and joke about it every day. But yeah, I think once you get to know him, you realize he's a pretty good kid and has a huge personality. He's always smiling. No problem.
Why the new number? What's up with that?
Well, you know, I wore this in high school, and last year, you know, Keenan Wessel was a senior, so I just felt like, you know, I asked him last year, you know, could I wear it, but I guess his parents, you know, already had all his jersey numbers and stuff, so I just gave him that respect and, you know, just decided to wear number 0. But I was very anxious to go back to 15, as it was just my number in high school, so I just really wanted to switch.
I mean, I'm sure you'd be asking a lot already. How's it going with the flood? I mean, how are you feeling?
It's going great, you know. You know, at first, of course, you know, I was a little down because, you know, this is supposed to be a year where, you know, I break out and, you know, I made some big strides, you know, towards the end of the year last year, and I had a lot of momentum moving into this year. But it's unfortunate this happened, but at the same time, you know, things happen for a reason, and I feel like the biggest aspect, you know, I've grown in from being out is watching it from coach's perspective, from the coach's perspective of not just the player, you know, seeing some mistakes that are being made or mistakes that I made last year that I see why I was making them and how I can fix them. So I feel like, you know, just being in the film room a little extra has helped me, and watching the game from the outside in has helped me mentally and helped me become more of a student to the game.
Where are you at in terms of the rehab? Are you
Sunday will be the 6th week. This is my last. I have what's today? Tuesday. I have until Sunday, and then I'm out the boot. I've been doing, you know, during practice. I actually don't have a boot on right now. I'm enabled to walk an hour or two a day, which I usually use that time to practice to wear regular shoes. Yesterday I was getting some shots up. Yesterday I worked on, you know, kind of squatting on one leg and not exploding, jumping, but trying to keep my balance and exploding, doing the right hand layup. But the process is going great. You know, I'm hopefully, you know, as our trainer is thinking, you know, hopefully a few weeks out to where I can practice.
Have you talked to Javon about that at all? Because it seems like last season he was always trying to recover from it.
Yeah, you know, of course I'll talk to him about it, but at the same time, you know, I've gone through this injury. You know, I went through it in high school, so I know exactly how to, you know, to deal with it. And, you know, but I have talked to him about it, you know, because he struggled with it last year.
Last season you really started to pour it on near the end. At what point did the game slow down for you last season? Was there a certain moment or game that you remember, you know, this is starting to slow down for me. I can compete at a high level?
I would say, well, you know, I started out very well. But when I started out, you know, offense was going for me, but I really hadn't picked up everything as far as on the defensive end in our system. I would say towards the senior night Purdue game, you know, when BJ got, you know, hurt, and I had to come in and play the rest of the game. I think that's when I was able. I knew the system. You know, I knew where I was supposed to be, what I was supposed to do, and I was able to impact the game more than just offensively. So I think, you know, that game is when I realized, you know, hey, I can play here. I can play at a high level, you know, here, and that's the game that kind of jump started the end of the year for me.
A year ago, if your freshman self would have walked in through that door, what would you have said to them?
A year ago?
Yeah, like if your freshman self walked in that door, what would you say right now to him about what he can expect?
I would say it's a marathon, you know, not a sprint. That's what I would say. That's what I would say to myself. You know, be patient. Be willing to expect that, you know, things aren't always going to go your way. You know, you'll have your up and your downs, but try to remain through a positive or a straight line level. don't be up and down throughout the whole season. And you know, that's something that I had to learn, and you know, that's something that I have learned. And as a result, you know, I feel like I've gotten better, and you know, I'm anxious to be able to lace them up.
You spent a lot of time with Tum, throughout your career. Just how much of a leader is he? I mean, we see it every day, but to the fans, what can you tell them about what he does for this team?
He gives us a lot of energy, you know. I think the fans really seen that last year, and I think that's what people love most about him. You know, he's for what he lacks in size, you know, or in height, he makes up for it with his heart, and you know, he plays his heart out every night, especially defensively. And you know, something great about his off season, you know, we worked out together a little bit, and he really worked on his jump shot and worked on his offensive game. So I think with his defense and how hard he plays to combine that with his offense, I think the fans will have a lot to look forward this year.
Does he ever have a bad day? I mean, it seems like he has a smile on his face.
Everybody has a bad day, unfortunately, but he handles it well. He coming from where we come from, it's a lot worse than this. So, what can you complain about? And that's kind of how he goes about his days.
And you guys break the huddle saying Natty, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Why is that?
Well, that's our #1 goal this year. It's kind of like how Coach said. Final Fours. That's just not enough. That's not enough anymore. We've got enough of those, and hopefully, not even hopefully. That's what our goal is to achieve. Get past that first game in the Final Four and then play in that championship game.